on down to the spring. Soon you will come to the secret glade where Bojun and Spotty and Henry played. There in the forest of oak trees and limes, wish on a clover and turn 3 times. Look very hard at the woodland scene. You might see some footprints where Bojun's been. But wait, an adventure's about to begin. Take a deep breath. Don't be shy. Come on in.
Deep, deep in the heart of a big forest, in a secret place where man had never been, lived a little furry Bojun. Bojun had lots of friends in the forest. There was Albert the squirrel, Harry the hedgehog, and Spotty the ladybird. But Bojun's best friend in all the world was Henry the Mickaboo. Henry was such a clever fellow and really very handsome. Bojun could never understand why Henry liked him so much, Henry being so clever while Bojun was, he was he was not so clever. For instance, Henry was always thinking up wonderful games, and it couldn't have been Henry's fault when the friends always seemed to end up in trouble. Like the time Henry organized a paper chase. It all began one day long, long ago, last week sometime. Bojun was walking through the forest with a large paper bag over his head. There was a perfectly good reason for this. Bojun had been so bored that he decided, after a great deal of thought, that maybe if he couldn't see where he was going, he might bump into something exciting like an adventure or a blackberry bush. Bojun loved blackberries. So there he was, galumping through the forest with a paper bag over his head. He had been galumping for quite some time now, and the only thing he'd bumped into was a very hard tree. He had just decided to have 3 more galumps. Well, he could only count to 3, when he fell over something. "Ah!" shouted Bojun. "At last I found something." "I'm not a something. I'm a somebody," said a very cross voice. "Ah," said Bojun. "Really?" in a careless sort of way. "Well, if you are a somebody, which somebody are you?" "As a matter of fact," said the cross voice, "I am Henry the Mickaboo." Now Bojun said something that was so clever he felt quite dizzy. "Ah, yes, so you say. But how do I know that you really are my friend, Henry?" "Well," said Henry, "if you were to take that contraption off your head, you'd be able to see me." Bojun didn't know what a contraption was, and he felt rather silly. So he took a deep breath and said, "Ah," and started twiddling a toadstool with his left toe. No one said anything after that, so Bojun's left toe just carried on twiddling, and might have been twiddling to this very day, if a small voice hadn't yelled, "Oi!" Left toe went rather pink and curled itself under Bojun's right foot. "Pardon?" said Bojun politely. "I said, 'Oi!'" said the small voice. Bojun decided that the time had come to remove the paper bag. But it was a very big bag, and he didn't quite know how to get it off, so he started punching from the inside with his fat little paws. The bag refused to come off, but it made a very good noise, sort of crackly and crinkly. "Oh, help," said Bojun. "I do wish my best friend Henry was here." "I am here," said Henry. "I told you." "Oh, Henry," said Bojun, "is it really you? Really and truly?" "Really and truly," said Henry. But I am not your best friend in all the world. I am Bojun's best friend, and you can't be Bojun because I was on my way to see him. He lives under a blackberry bush, you know." "But I am Bojun," said Bojun. "At least I was when I got up this morning." "Prove it," shouted the small voice from down by Bojun's feet. "I'm trying to," said Bojun, "but this bag won't come off." And he started punching it again from the inside, but it still wouldn't come off. Henry had a long think, and he thought so hard that his ears went rather limp. At last, when he had hardly any think left, an idea came to him. "I think," he said, "that if you were to climb a tree and hang upside down by your feet, I think the bag would just drop off." "Oh," said Bojun, "now I know you are really and truly my best friend in all the world. No one else could have had such a clever think." So Bojun climbed up the nearest tree and hung upside down, and at last the bag came off his head and floated quietly down to the ground. Bojun's feet let go of the branch, and he fell with a mighty thump right on top of the toadstool. "Oh, Bojun," the small voice said sadly, "what a pity you are so heavy. You've quite squashed my house." Bojun opened his eyes at last and saw that the little voice belonged to Spotty, the ladybird. "It wasn't so bad when you just twiddled it up with your toe, but now there's nothing left but a heap of squidge. Oh, and I had a cake in the oven, too," he finished very sadly. "Oh, dear," said Bojun, "I am so sorry, Spotty. But you can come and stay with me until you find another house. What do you say, Henry?" But Henry wasn't saying anything. He was busy looking at the paper bag. "You know," he said, when finally he did say something, "if it's a fine day tomorrow, we could all have a game of paper chase. We could use this paper bag." "Yes," said Bojun, "I had thought of that," wondering what on earth a paper chase was. "Well then," said Henry, "let's all go back to your place, Bojun, and make the preparations." "Do you need a recipe?" asked Bojun. "I've got some sugar, and there's a spoonful or two of blackberry jam left." "No," laughed Henry, "we just need a lot of hard thinking. Come along, Spotty, you can help." Spotty took one last long look at the heap of squidge that had once been his house, then spread his wings and flew after the two friends who were disappearing into the distance. "You know," panted Bojun, "I knew it was you all the time, Henry." "So did I," puffed Henry.